Which are the best bluff cards in the X-Files CCG's universe of cards? What makes them so effective, and how can they prove worthwhile additions to your Bureau deck? Welcome everyone to Alien Investigations, a channel dedicated to the X-Files Collectible Card Game. I'm Steven, and you're watching Tips of the Trade. Hold on your flashlights, fellow agents, because we're about to investigate one of the darkest recesses of the X-Files CCG's gallery of conspiracy cards. That's right, the bluff cards. Utilized by the conspiracy player, bluffs hinder the opposing player's investigation into sites in a variety of ways, including, but not limited to, manipulating the site prerequisite, preventing an agent from applying their investigative skills, or enabling an adversary to attack a team that's nosing around a site, asking too many questions. In the advanced gameplay for the X-Files CCG, bluffs are typically placed face down at a site during the opposing player's case assignment phase. The notion here is to make one's opponent second guess the likelihood of successfully investigating a site and forego sending their agents into a potential trap. So here's how bluffs work. A face down bluff is revealed during the next phase of the round after the investigating player has assigned agents to the site. If the conspiracy player chooses to initiate the effect listed on the bluff, the cost to do so is reduced by 1 because they opted to play it face down in the previous phase. Bluff effects range from somewhat innocuous to debilitating. And like every card type in the X-Files CCG, some bluffs are incredibly effective while others are just plain duds. So, which bluffs are most worthy of being included in your Bureau deck? Well, there's really no shortage of good bluffs to choose from. Play what you like. Throw in a few of those dick cards that force your opponent to randomly discard cards from their hand. Or give some of those infrequently used 10-13 expansion bluffs some much needed love. And of course, be mindful that some bluffs only cater to specific strategies. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through the 5 best bluffs that the X-Files CCG has to offer. The following are staples of my own decks and have served me well. Let's take a look at them. Before we begin the list proper, let's address a bluff card that, while not cracking into the top 5 tier, still deserves mention as a valuable inclusion. I'm talking about the Mailman. This runner-up from the aforementioned 10-13 expansion, where you won't find too many staple bluffs, is a standout with a unique game effect that can simultaneously screw over your opponent and benefit your team of agents in a subsequent round. The Mailman, which is derived from the Season 3 episode The Walk and features the late great Willie Garson in the role of Quentin Freely, allows the conspiracy player to immediately move any one game effect token from one card on the table to another. This thieving effect, which costs 4 conspiracy points, 3 if played face down, is most effectively used when stealing the game effect token from a starting agent on the opposing side and moving it to one of your own agents. For example, if your opponent has yet to play Albert Hosting's one-time game effect, an effect particularly favored among tournament players, the Mailman can remove Hosting's token and place it on Agent Dana Scully, who starts each game with 3 game effect tokens. And thus, the token that once belonged to Albert Hosting can now be used by Scully to examine an opponent's face-down bluff. Bear in mind that the stolen token cannot be placed on Agent Scully in this case if she's still sitting on her 3 starting tokens. One must have been used prior to the Mailman being played. The Mailman is a recurring staple in my decks, particularly when Detective Manners is a starting agent on my team. Anyone who's squared off with me or watched enough of my gameplay episodes knows that I'm quick to use one of Detective Manners' 2 game effect tokens to summon a resource-generating witness like Kevin Morris, which thus frees up Detective Manners to receive a new token from the Mailman should it come up in the course of a game. As 10-13-6-1 bluffs go, the Mailman is a redwood among mere sprouts. From a strategic standpoint, if your opponent feels so inclined to send the Mailman to the discard pile in order to save one of their agent's tokens, then that's one less Langley that your opponent can use to negate one of your more potent investigation killing bluffs, so it's a win either way.
finish this, Mulder.
We begin our countdown of the top 5 best bluffs with Section Chief Joseph McGrath. Hailing from the Fallen Angel episode of Season 1, this severe-faced bureaucrat with a dad bod that just won't quit is dead set on reeling in your adventure-seeking agents, hence his game effect. Let's take a closer look at him. At his game effect, not his dad bod. This bluff card, which is exclusive to the X-Files CCG's Premier Edition, has a straightforward ability to send one agent of the conspiracy player's choosing back to the Bureau section of the table, where the agent will be unable to contribute their skills to the site investigation in progress. So for the cost of 5 conspiracy points, 4 if played face down, the Shadow Government gets to remove one agent from the site, and usually the owning player will want to target the agent who's contributing most to the site skill check, but not always. Depending on the site prerequisite, sending home only one agent isn't going to cut it. A more tactically minded player might use McGrath to send the agent with the highest combat ratings back to the Bureau instead, even if that agent isn't helping out much with the site skill check, which will render the remaining agents at the site more vulnerable to a vicious adversary attack. It's also worth noting that the agent sent back to the Bureau courtesy of Section Chief McGrath can be deployed back to the field in the owning player's subsequent turn. Little bit of a downside to Section Chief McGrath, the agent sent to the Bureau still generates resource points as normal, and while unlikely, the agent's position in the Bureau might give the owning player an opportunity to requisition equipment cards to the agent, given that the majority of equipment cards have a Bureau activator. Again, that's an unlikely scenario given that equipment cards aren't heavily included in most decks, and even then, players are more inclined to use them as conspiracy fodder. But it's worth mentioning in any case when you compare Section Chief McGrath's effect to other bluffs coming up in this countdown.
How do you respond to these allegations, Agent Mulder?
Over a dozen men lost their lives, and you want me to respond to issues of protocol?
You failed to obtain proper authorization for your actions.
Because I knew it wouldn't be forthcoming.
You also violated a federal quarantine.
A cover-up was underway.
Exposing yourself and possibly others to toxic contamination.
Oh, toxic contamination. Are we back in that? You read my report. Explain the disappearance of Max Fennig.
Your report is not the subject of this inquiry.
I have further evidence to support my conclusions. X-rays taken while Mr. Fennig was institutionalized show an object lodged in his cerebellum.
That is irrelevant, Agent Mulder.
The man was abducted. We all know it. Everybody in this room knows it.
Colonel Henderson's written testimony states that Fennig's body was found 2 hours later in a cargo container.
Number 4 on our countdown of the X-Files CCG's best bluffs is Detective Thompson, referencing the antagonistic Flatfoot who went out of his way to stymie Mulder's search for the truth in the Jersey Devil. This guy is so officious that no matter what the site prerequisite is, whether it's Alien Investigation 4 or Occult Investigation 5, he's going to change it to Bureaucracy 3. With a cost of 3 conspiracy points, 2 if played face down, Detective Thompson is one of the most effective investigation-ending bluffs. If it is not negated or the team isn't able to amass enough bureaucracy to meet this new requirement, then show's over for that site investigation. Amongst the bluffs found in the Premier and Truth Is Out There editions, there are 2 like-minded bluffs, Sheriff Daniels, who changes a site prerequisite to Subterfuge 3, and Peter Tanaka, who changes the prerequisite to Observation 3. So why are these guys not on this list? Well, they're not nearly as effective in stopping the investigation as Detective Thompson. Bureaucracy is a specialized skill in that a typical team of agents isn't going to incidentally have a lot of bureaucracy unless that's the skill the opposing player was focusing on when assembling their team. To better illustrate how niche bureaucracy is, only 7 agents have this skill, while 11 agents have a subterfuge skill of 1 or more, and a whopping 15 agents are sporting some observation. So basically, if Assistant Director Skinner isn't one of the starting agents, then chances are good that the opposing team isn't going to have enough bureaucracy skill on hand to satisfy Detective Thompson's officious meddling.
Any suspects yet, Detective?
I don't work for you, sir. And unless you hear different from the Attorney General, this case is a local matter.
Agent Mulder, we should go.
There's no need to get bent out of shape.
On the contrary, I think I've been exceedingly polite.
Next, let's talk about Unnatural Aging. And no, don't worry, this is not an ad for Neutrogena. I'm talking about the number 3 bluff in our countdown that's derived from the classic Season 2 episode Calm, wherein Mulder and Scully investigate the rusting hulk of a naval destroyer whose crew succumbed to rapid aging. This kick-ass bluff has a similar move effect to Section Chief McGrath, in that it forces one agent on the investigating team to immediately relocate from the site to the hospital section of the table. In addition, the agent suffering from the crippling effects of premature aging gets a permanent -1 to their health for the remainder of the game. When played strategically, this -1 modifier to an agent's health can potentially slow the rate at which the agent heals damage in the hospital. For example, if Agent Scully is the chosen target of Unnatural Aging, then her health of 4 is permanently reduced to 3. So what does this mean? During the healing phase, agents with a health of 4 or more heal 2 damage per round, while agents with a health of 3 heal only 1 damage per round. And because an agent must have at least 3 health in order to leave the hospital, an agent with a health of 4 or more would be permitted to leave the hospital after 2 rounds, while an agent with a health of 3 would have to wait 3 rounds, barring the intervention of a healing card. Additionally, an agent in the hospital at the start of their next briefing phase cannot generate resource points. So Unnatural Aging packs a greater punch than Section Chief McGrath. Unlike McGrath, this bluff has ramifications that will impact later rounds beyond the one in which the card was played. The only major drawback of Unnatural Aging is the move effect can only be implemented if the investigating team fails to make a Sciences 4 skill check. So a team of eggheads including, say, Agent Scully and Agent Pendrell would have no problem making that skill check. But like bureaucracy, Sciences is a somewhat specialized skill, so chances are good that Unnatural Aging will do the job. And for the cost of 5 conspiracy points, 4 if played face down, Unnatural Aging is a worthwhile investment.
Scully. Mulder, what happened to you?
Let's move on to the number 2 bluff in our countdown, Injured Relative. This is one of the rare cards exclusive to the Truth Is Out There 2nd edition set. Of the 30 all-new cards to come out of the 2nd edition of the X-Files CCG, this one is the most useful when it comes to putting a crimp in the opposing team's investigation. Like Section Chief McGrath and Unnatural Aging, this bluff also utilizes the relocation effect that forces one agent to go to the hospital section where the agent is prevented from contributing to any skill checks occurring at the site. Like the previously mentioned bluffs, Injured Relative also has a sticker price of 5 conspiracy points, 4 if played face down. As with Unnatural Aging, any agents occupying the hospital section during the briefing phase are prevented from generating resource points, which makes Injured Relative slightly more worthwhile than Section Chief McGrath. Like Unnatural Aging, this bluff doesn't necessitate a skill check in order to send the target agent packing, which gives Injured Relative a leg up over Unnatural Aging. By forcing the lead agent to abandon the investigation so that they can go off and do a bedside vigil for an ailing family member who just happened to get caught in the crossfire, this bluff is sure to prove an invaluable foil. I mean, after all, no self-respecting Byzantine government plot to hide the truth about the existence of aliens from the public would be complete without a little collateral damage, am I right?
Agent Scully,
What? What is it?
your sister's in critical condition.
Scully? Scully, wait. Scully! Scully, wait! Scully!
I have to go there, Mulder.
You can't go.
That bullet was meant for me.
If they're trying to kill you, that's the first place they're gonna look.
Those bastards.
And the #1 X-Files CCG Bluff, the most potent tool in your shadow government's arsenal, is car troubles. That's right, car troubles. A few of you who regularly tune into the channel may recall that I discussed this card in a previous episode, the top 5 cards with a common rarity. I said it then, and I'll say it again. You really can't go wrong with car troubles. Derived from the early Season 1 episode Shadows, Car Troubles has a game effect that's a bit long in the text, but in a nutshell, it thins out a large team of agents that's just been assigned to a site. The investigating player can only send 2 of their best men or women to the site. The other agents are still considered part of the team, but they are unable to apply their skills to any skill checks occurring at the site. With only 2 agents contributing to the site skill check, the potential for thwarting the investigation is pretty high. In some cases, car troubles alone is enough to stall the investigation if the 2 remaining agents are lacking in the necessary skills to satisfy the site prerequisite, which is not too shabby for a card that only costs 3 conspiracy points, 2 if played face down. Additionally, car troubles can prove particularly devastating when it is followed up by an adversary. Strength in numbers, as they say, but when half the team or more is waiting by the side of the road for AAA to arrive, the 2 remaining agents become easy prey. An adversary would fare much better against a team of 2 agents as opposed to a team of 4 or 5. And best of all, car troubles can prevent the opposing player from playing the evasive maneuvers card to negate a non-phenomena adversary. Car Troubles is a top-of-the-line bluff. Whether you're using it to reduce the site skill check or to pave the way for a punishing adversary attack, Car Troubles will ensure that the opposing agents will be sending the good people at Lariat Car Rental Agency a strongly worded letter.
What's happening? What the hell's going on?
Hang on. You okay?
Yeah.
And there you have it, the most effective, most reliable bluffs in X-Files CCG. As bluffs go, these are the best of the bunch, and the cigarette smoking man will be sure to salute you for including them in your bureau deck. But that's just my opinion. Now I want to hear from you. Are there any bluffs that didn't make the cut that you'd like to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. And I hope that this video and all the previous videos have been of some help in enhancing your understanding of the game. If you feel so inclined, you can help me out by watching any of the videos that you might have missed, or by simply investigating that subscribe button, or sharing this video with a friend. If you need any ideas on how to construct an effective bureau deck, I've got sample deck videos that should prove inspiring. And finally, you can reach out to me at alienvestigations19@gmail.com for business inquiries, or if you have ideas for upcoming shows that you'd like to see. Once again, I'm Steven, and be sure to tune in again for more Tips of the Trade.